The topic that I chose after trying to figure out what would be a good controversial topic where you have good pros and cons, I decided to go with the pros of student athletes being able to make money off of their name. Um, so basically, a large amount of sports fans all over the country watch college sports. I'd say most sports fans probably in the country watch college sports because college sports is so closely tied with the community, and you could have attended that school, your friend could have attended that school, your family could have attended that school, and it's basically just it feels like home. And so since we love sports so much, we put lots of money into sports, whether it's buying merchandise, um, attending the games, buying like getting certain cable deals so that you're able to watch your teams like school for example, if you're a fan of the Pac-12 but you don't live in the states where the Pac-12 is, if you go and buy the Pac-12 network, then you could watch your team and watch the teams who's also in that conference. So we put lots of money into sports, and all of that money that we go, or all of the money that we put in, it goes back to the program. And if you think about it, the players are making all of this money because if the team's bad, we're not going to be. I mean, we'll still support and we'll still put money into it, but not like if Alabama has an undefeated season and Alabama the next year has a 9-win season, the undefeated season is going to make significantly more money because we like to see our teams win. And once they start losing, we kind of push it away a little bit. And I feel like that it's unfair for college players because they create opportunities for the program to make all this money, but yet they don't really see much of it. They get a free education, which is nice, but at the same time, if you think about how hard a college athlete works, how they have to behave, how they get criticized and dragged on social media after having bad games, it's like there's other people in the school who are on free ride scholarships, but they don't have to deal with that. Maybe the hard work part, but if they go on Twitter and they see somebody talking bad about them or saying these crazy things about them, it's like an unusual thing. But if you're a college quarterback and you have a bad game and you go on Twitter, if you're a star player and you have a bad game, you'll probably be trending, or if you just search your name, you'll see a lot of negative tweets. And I think this is just tough because it's tough being an athlete in general, but for professional athletes, when they see this stuff and they complain about how people talk to them and treat them, they say, well, you make all this money, so why do you care about what other people think? But when it's a college athlete, it's different. And I think there's a lot of pros for college athletes to be able to make money off of their own name. One of the things is college athletes, they don't have much time to work because they're so busy with training, and teams like train year round trying to compete and win national championships. So you're not just going to have time to go work at a fast food restaurant or stuff like that. Maybe at times during the summer, but not much. And so if you pay if you pay college athletes, it kind of makes up for their lack of ability to make that income by themselves, which kind of makes things more fair. But then at the same time, I oftentimes see when people say, how do you make it fair? How do you evenly divide how much players get paid, because Alabama players will be getting paid a lot more than, let's say, Weber State players. And so the way I see that is maybe if you don't have, the schools pay the student athletes, but you allow the student athletes to make money off of their name. Because a lot of people don't know this, but if I was a athlete at any school, I'll go to big school though. Let's say I'm an athlete at Ohio State and I play football. If I want to sell my jersey from last season, like it's mine, and I want to sell it, I'm not allowed to because you can't make money off of your own name. And I remember a couple years ago when Johnny Manziel he got in trouble because they said he was charging people for signatures. He didn't get in a lot of trouble, but it was still like a story. And it was because he was charging people for signatures. While it's charging people for signatures, you could see it as that's kind of messed up, or it might be egotistical, but at the same time, these players are just trying to make money because they don't have time to work. And if someone tells me that they'll pay me for me to sign something, I do it. I'm sure you do it. Most people would do it. And yeah, I think we just focus too hard on athletes trying to make money. Like I think we have it too much in a negative light when really they're just doing stuff that they're probably going to do when they get to the next level, if they get to the next level. I think college sports in general are so dangerous because like you could take a bad fall or you could take a bad hit and that could either be the end of your life or it could change significantly. And yeah, a free education is nice, but the fact that you're basically risking your life every time you step onto the field is scary for the fact that they don't really get much. And anytime they try to bring it up or make a movement, they just get shut down, or they're saying that you get free schooling, so you should be happy. But like I said, a lot of people in the university get free schooling, but they're also not risking their life every day to do it. So I just think college athletes, if the school's not going to pay them, then they should be allowed to go and make money off of their own name because that's what's fair. We want players to be able to be as free as they want, and we want them to be themselves and express themselves, but they can't make money off of their own name, which makes no sense. Like, no one should be able to limit how you make your money as long as you're doing it like legally. If you want to sell a jersey from last year, you don't really care for it, you should be able to do that. And it doesn't make much sense that the NCAA tries so hard to limit what these athletes can do and their source of income, because some of these athletes, they grow up poor, and some of these athletes, they don't have a lot of financial support coming from home. So yeah, they're going to school for free, but what about all the other things? Like, free schooling doesn't cover everything, and having money, in general, having money is essential. But when you're in college, when you're a college student and you're away from home, it's very important. And the fact that they can't make the money just makes you really imagine how tough it is for some athletes compared to others. Like, some athletes, they get lots of financial support. They could do a lot more things, while some athletes are not making a lot of money. So, or they're not making, excuse me. Some athletes don't come from a family that makes a lot of money, so they can't do as much. And it's like, if we pay the players for what they're doing for the program, then it would help them a lot, and it would make things more even. And I think a lot of people would enjoy being in the NCAA a lot more, because when players get out of college, we often hear lots of complaints, especially when they get to the NFL, or NBA, MLB. Mainly see it with NFL and NBA, but a lot of them go back and they complain about college and how it basically took advantage of them because they made the school all this money and they got nothing. Like, the biggest point I'll make about this when it comes to like player likeliness is, if I'm a Duke fan and there's a number 1 jersey and then some random other numbers, everyone's going to know that number 1 means Zion Williamson, whether it says his name on the back or not. We all know it's Zion Williamson, and that number 1 jersey is being bought because it's Zion Williamson. But yet Zion Williamson makes no money off of that jersey, but he's making money for the school. And that's just, I've always looked at that and just thought it was unfair and that they're taking advantage of the athletes. So I think definitely players should be able to make money off their own name if we do not allow programs to pay them.